Hello, everyone. Today is March 30th, 2026. I'm going to be talking about an incident that happened yesterday on the 29th with RTD Security and Police at the 9 Mile Station. Also, I am going to be talking about the General Manager and CEO of RTD. For those of you who are new, RTD stands for Regional Transportation District, which is the public transportation department for Denver Metro here in Colorado, United States of America. Also, if you want more information and also links to my various social media channels, please visit my website, www.audittheauditor.com. Let's get started. Okay, yesterday was Sunday, March 29th, 2026. It was real beautiful outside. I was riding the train and I was getting on at 9 Mile Station. I noticed there was a large police presence. Like, I had been to that station multiple times, but I haven't seen like a police presence there. They have some weird like parking structure there. I've seen people getting high in people like junkies and stuff smoking dope by the stairwells and stuff. But I mean, I don't know if that would warrant that big of a police presence. But so there was like three RTD police officer vehicles. I have a video up on it online, and there was a field supervisor for RTD. I don't know if that was RTD police. It looked more like it was kind of like for RTD employees who are not officers, because of course if it was like a police somebody who's a supervisor for the police, they would be riding around in a different type of vehicle. So yeah, so I was like kind of curious. I was recording that. I didn't see anybody, no police officers in the vicinity. I looked at the bus driver, some people around. Didn't look like anything was going on, so I said maybe it's happening on the platform. I was going to jump on the light rail anyway, so I you know what I mean. I got on the train, so I was getting on the train. So I said, I better start recording before I go up there on the platform. So I jumped on the elevator, got up there, got on the platform. I saw a lot of police officers. There was about, say, 6 police officers on the platform I've never seen. And this was on the R line, which goes kind of along the 225 highway here in Denver Metro. So I was in Aurora. I think I was technically in Denver. It's weird if you look at the county line. Anyways, Denver, Aurora, right there by the border county line where it goes through Aurora and Denver, the R line. So the counties are so messed up in this metro area, it's not even funny. If you look at a map, you're like, it looked like some crackhead drew this stuff or some kid with a crayon. Anyway, sorry, I digress. So I jump on there. I start recording the police. One of them, they kind of look a little sketched out. I'm like, whatever, I'm going to record you. I didn't harass them, I'm not trying to be that rude of a First Amendment auditor, I'm not dissing any First Amendment auditors who do that. I should have got closer to them and kind of like got their badge numbers or something, just for record, not for anything, not because they were doing anything wrong. They were just standing around. Anyways, I assumed they were going to jump on the trains. I'm telling you right now, I've ridden that R line a lot. I've never seen a police officer physically on the train or even on the platform. There needs to be police officers that get on that train. Now, RTD just hired, I think, like 100 police officers. I don't fact check me on this because I don't know for certain. I don't know when they're gonna, when they're being active in the field, and because I know they have to go through training, but I think it was in late 2026, 2025, or in 2026 when they hired these 100 additional officers. Now, it doesn't appear that way because every time I get on the train, I don't see a police officer. I've only seen a police officer once on the train, and that was on the A line from downtown Union Station to the airport. So like I said, I never there needs to be police. Security, I only see a security presence on the A line, which is like RTD's prized line, It's their prized possession. It's the most popular light rail ridden because it goes from downtown to the airport. So you got all the rich people downtown that are flying to go see mama and dada or go on vacation. So they go from the A-line to the airport, and we know how busy, how crazy and busy the airport is in Denver Metro, that the DIA, Denver International Airport. Anyways, I've only seen a police officer on the A-line, but I've rarely even then I've only seen it one time. I see security a lot on the A-line, but on the R-line, I don't see security. Now, according to a board meeting I watched, there has to be at least, I think, one security guard on a train in order for it to operate. That's their policy. But that policy gets broken because I've ridden that R-line and there's no security on it. People are acting up, being crazy on that train. One time, a guy got on there. Literally, he was quiet on the platform and he got on the train. As soon as he got on the train, he started wigging out, started yelling and screaming. I'm talking loud. I mean, this was loud. And I was like, I hit that emergency button. I was like, hey, got to kick this guy off the bus. No security was on the platform. No security was on the light rail. And so it was going to have the driver of the light rail was going to have to go and confront this gentleman. Thankfully, another guy jumped up. He was a passenger, and he told him, hey, you got to get off the train, man. They're going to come get you. And he scared that dude off the train. He was, obviously, the guy had mental issues. I think he appeared to be homeless, but, or houseless, So it's crazy, man. It's crazy how little security is on that R line, and, it goes through, some pretty rough area. And, so yeah, pretty bad. Anyways, I recorded, the police had gotten on, only two police officers got on the R line when I got on, checked my ticket, started checking people's tickets, and then two security guards jumped on. So I want to talk about the conversation I had with them. And I want to mention security guards. Their policy is RTD policy is they can't touch anybody for any reason unless they're being attacked and they have to defend themselves. Then they can put hands on somebody. So RTD security is not that effective. Is not effective at all in, how should I word this? They're not that effective in keeping the light rail safe. Now, I want to congratulate an RTD security officer. He's in one of my videos, cell phone videos, one of my first videos. He de-escalated an argument between two gentlemen that was going to get violent. They were threatening each other with violence. And he de-escalated it very well. And, not all security officers are bad. I don't want to, I'm not here to talk bad about them. But if they do something good, congratulate them. If they do something bad, hold them accountable. So it's, everybody has to be accountable for their actions, whether they're good or bad. I'm held to a high standard of accountability, so should others. If I'm breaking the law, I go to jail. If somebody's a law enforcement and they're breaking the law, they go to jail. So, we're all equal. We're all Americans, so, or citizens or people, the residents of this place. So anyways, two security guards jumped on. I was shocked. They're like, you're recording. And I was like, yeah, I'm shocked. I said, I never see this, never seen a police officer on this train. She goes, I know. They even agreed, yeah, it is rare, but they're on here watching. I said, that's good. But yeah, I had a conversation with them and we were talking. I didn't get their names, but they're very nice. We're chopping it up, talking, and the guy was like, oh, I like your camera. He goes, I want to get one so I can kind of vlog with doing my job. And I said, yeah, this is an action camera. I didn't have my body cam on me, and I just had my action cam. But yeah, he's real cool. We're talking about they're talking about the crazy stuff they've seen, like people getting naked on the train. That's actually happened quite often. A lot of people kind of, with mental illness and slash or drugs abuse, So what I found out was this happened around. It was like an hour before sunset. So I think it was around 6 o'clock, 6 p.m., 5:30 p.m. yesterday on the 29th. The reason why there was such a large police presence was there was a man on a bus, and he was, it sounds pretty insane, but he was playing a harmonica, and he's playing it loud on the bus, and the driver told him, hey, stop playing that with the harmonica. I guess, it's loud. And the guy got upset. He was under the influence of alcohol, and he had a hammer or some type of weapon similar, and he was threatening to beat the bus driver to death with it, from what I recall the security guard saying. So this is all hearsay. This isn't like set in stone facts. I'm going to do a public records request on this just to show, severity of things that can happen on the public transportation RTD. So they were like, that's why there was such a large police presence. I guess at that time they decided to jump on it on the trains. Actually, one of the officers, I believe I recognized him from body cam footage, and I believe I have one of his body cams from another incident, the pepper spray incident on March 5th, 2026. So, but yeah, the security guards were cool. We're just talking, and really nice. They confirmed that they were not allowed to touch anybody unless they were defending themselves. I had talked to them about previous incidences, and then I posted it on YouTube, and they were like, they followed me on YouTube. I said, check it out. I'm making videos about RTD. I'm just trying to educate people, trying to hopefully make a difference in changing policy and procedures and make this place more safe. My goal is to make, hopefully they, expose RTD, and then that will cause them to do their job, and make RTD safe without, doing things that are unnecessary, like, police brutality, excessive force, arresting people for petty things, police officers wasting time on calls, they're wasting money right now. They're paying off-duty police officers, and they're right to charge people with crimes and transport them to county jails. Yet they give them vehicles with no cages in them, and then RTD ends up doing their job while off-duty police officers are kicking back, getting paid extra money, high, more than their average, more than their on-duty pay. So they're doing their job. So it's basically guys just standing around doing nothing, wasting time. Two guys can detain somebody and transport them instead of like a whole platoon, exaggerating, like 7 officers, like on that one call. So they even agreed with me on that those security officers are like, yeah, I said, I know what's going down. I know what's going on. They're just telling me all these crazy stories. Yeah, their job is pretty hard. I wouldn't do it, especially with the workmen's compensation laws in this country. If they get seriously injured, that company's going to deny their claim. They don't want to pay out, so they don't even have body cameras. So I told them, I said, you guys need to get body cameras. You need to protect yourselves. Because, who knows, somebody could be drunk and they stumbled and fell down, and they try to say that they hit them, but, they fell down because they were under the influence. So, yeah, crazy. They're out there doing their job, They're telling me, yeah, they can get all kinds of gear from some store out here. I wanted to check it out, but they said you have to be a police officer or RTD security officer, because I wanted some tactical stuff for, like, because they said they could wear all the, what they told me? They said they could wear a vest, a bulletproof vest, but they have to wear it under their uniform. They can't wear it over their uniform, of course, to block it. It has to fit under their shirts, which you probably have to get a size pretty big to put like a bulletproof vest in there. I don't think they have to worry about getting shot. Well, there's been some incidences, but I'd be worried about getting stabbed or poked with a needle if I was a security guard. But first time I ever seen police on the R line. Crazy. Yeah, that was crazy. But anyways, I want to talk about this video. This is what we're going to talk about. Oh my gosh, this is insane. The RTD just put out a video on March 27th, 2026. It's only got 37 views, and it's called Resilience and Reinvention. Full panel discussion. Now, I want to know who paid for this. Now, it has the RTD watermark in the upper left-hand corner. I believe. Yeah, that is a RTD watermark in the upper left-hand corner. Okay, now I want to first off by saying I have nothing. I'm not trying to what is it called? I'm not trying to belittle women. I'm not trying to belittle women. I'm not trying to do any of that. I'm just saying what resources are being allocated towards things that are necessary at this time and moment. What things are, I'm trying to show how much money is being diverted away from real issues like sanitary issues at RTD stations and public safety on public transportation versus educating people on women's rights or women, empowering women and the money being allocated towards that because RTD is public transportation. So anyways, I'm going to talk about this video. This video was most likely paid for by RTD and posted online. Of course, they held this meeting, and at least one of them is an RTD employee, which is the general manager and CEO. I forget her name. I don't know it off the top of my head, but she's a female, of course. And I'm watching this video, and it's all about, Women's History Month, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Now, RTD is for public transportation. That's a public transportation department. It's not PBS. It's not public access. I'm old school. We called it public access back in the day. The public transportation department is not made to educate people on women's rights, other types of history, why don't you stick to public transportation? Do what you're supposed to do. Stick to public, educating the people on public transportation, how to ride it, how to be safe. These are the resources you have. If something happens, call the police. If something's dirty, we're going to clean it. What are we doing to make your experience a whole lot better? Why don't you spend the money on showing all the financial documents, making them public and educating the public on, okay, here's our expenses. Here's our income. Here's this. Why don't you tell people, educate people on that? Because they don't want to focus on that. They don't want to focus on the reality of why is this transportation department failing? Why are you asking for more money when we increase taxes to pay for public transportation? I've never lived in a state where you had a sales tax that specifically went towards public transportation. I was all for it when I got to this state, but then I saw that they're not even doing their job. They're not upkeeping the sanitation of the stations or the public safety, and they're spending money on it. They're hiring all these police officers, yet it's still unsafe and they're not doing their job. So basically, this video, I'm watching it and she's drinking her own bathwater. She's wafting in her own pride and position, saying she's like, out of the whole country, she's one of 7 that head of a public transportation department. Okay, pat yourself on the back, but do it on your own time. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a problem with that. A women's empowerment or women's session. You're filming it, That's all good, Hey, more power to you, That's good. That's good that this is taking place and you're helping each other out. Women really do help each other out versus men. We'll stab each other in the back. Now, that's just my opinion. This is just an opinion piece. But anyways, I can't confirm this. I might do a public records request. I'll see how much they spent on this. But it seems RTD spent the money on filming this, and they're getting paid while they're doing this. And I bet you that general manager, this is, how long is this? It's 1 hour and 33 minutes. So you have the setup time. You got to get there early. You're getting paid for it, filming the session, and then setting, breaking down. Now, they brought the buses in vinyls, and I believe the trains, celebrating Women's History Month. That I don't have a problem with. It's kind of beautiful to see that artwork on the buses. But trust me, if you look into how much it costs to wrap a vehicle, it is a lot of money. It is a lot of money just to buy a little vinyl sign. If you knew how much it costs, I'll probably get that. See, I'll probably get how much they're paying for that. But if you knew how much it costs to wrap a car, just a car, it's an exorbitant amount of money. Now, for this custom wrap to be printed and put on the bus, yeah, that's a lot of money. Now, maybe RTD has its own department, but still you're paying employees. That's time and that's money, okay? So they're wrapping all this stuff. They're paying it out of their pocket versus, somebody who wants to advertise on their transportation. You know what I mean? On their light rail, they're charging them to advertise on their buses and everything. And I don't want to get too off subject, but I don't like the fact that there's alcohol. And this may not be a popular opinion. I don't like the fact that there's alcohol being advertised on public transportation. I don't like that. You know, we have a high rate of alcoholism, you know, in this country, and drug abuse, and I don't want to see that on the public transportation. It's depressing. And another thing that's depressing is these injury lawyers, you know. I don't like that either, you know, because they really do prey on people. That's my opinion. You know, I'm not naming any names, but, you know, you got these ambulance chasers on the, you know, on the public transportation. And I don't want to see that, you know. I want to see something positive. So it is good that there's something positive on the bus. I'm just saying right now, all they do is complain ever since its existence. All they do is complain about money. You know, maybe we should think about how you're spending your time, you know, because she can do this on her own time. These women could do this on their own time, on their own dime, at another organization, one that's more fit for it. Like I said, PBS, Public Broadcasting System, I believe it stands for, versus public transportation. Like I said, they could be breaking down financial documents and educating people on where the money's coming and where the money's going, but they ain't going to do that. You know what I mean? Instead, general manager, CEO, she just wants to pat herself on the back. Look at me. Look at me. I'm a woman. Look what I'm doing. Look what I... See the position I'm in instead of seeing what I am doing and what changes I made. Because the truth is, the reality is RTD is being heavily watched and scrutinized by the state of Colorado. And that's just the truth. They had a whole day session at the Capitol talking about how they're not going to be able to continue with this transportation department, I think, in the future because of they don't have enough money. So that's all they complain about. We don't have enough money. But yet they're talking about women's history. What is this? For March, I guess it's women's... Is it Women's History in March? March is Women's History Month, I guess. Let me check this out on the internet. Okay, blah, blah, blah. March 8th, 2025. Yeah, I guess just the whole month in America. In Canada, they got one. I think it's a day, Women's Day on March 8th. Oh, my bad. That's, United States, Germany, Australia. March 8th. Canada has one on October 18th. But anyways, I forgot what I was going to say. This type of content just rubs me the wrong way because they could be educating people on more pressing issues, on more serious issues that affect women, men, whatever gender you identify as. It affects all people. Public safety affects all people. Public transportation affects all people, all human beings, no matter what your color, race, creed, political affiliation is. This, you know, right now you need to make content about everybody that uses this, for everybody that uses this public transportation, and how you're going to save money and how you're going to make it more efficient, safe, and clean. But instead you want to pat yourself on the back and, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's what I got to say about that. It was just a whole, I mean, she went on a rant in the beginning of that video. Just, you could watch the first 5-10 minutes of that video and she's just patting herself on the back. Yeah, how about this? I challenge you to go speak at a public meeting and see how much they care about your opinion or your input. And I'm telling you right now, they ain't going to give, they don't care about your opinion or what you think. You're going to see how they react and how they behave when you go and you speak at one of their public meetings. So yeah, they'll take the time to pat themselves on the back and make this propaganda to hide what's really going on with RTD. So there's a lot of, it's a lot of bullshit. It's a lot of fucking bullshit. They're going to take the time to spend all this money on this shit, and they're not going to fix the real issues for everybody, for all people. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's all bullshit, man. Anyway, shout out to the security guards, man. I mean, be safe, man. Be safe. Everybody, all the security guards, man, keep your get a body camera, because RTD is on a budget. It probably ain't going to pay you workman's compensation if you get hurt. That insurance is going to be going dead out of your claim. You better watch your ass. Now, that's just my opinion. I don't want to get sued and say I know for sure, but, this is mostly an opinion piece, but this was also some facts in here. Anyways, go to my website, www.audittheauditor.com. Link is in the description below. I know on YouTube I'm at DIY journalist, like do-it-yourself journalist, but Delta India Yankee journalist. That's how you spell it, DIY. and then everywhere else. Right now I'm on TikTok. I'm going to post my link to TikTok on my profile. I'm going to start getting on TikTok because even the security guards were like, yo, you need to get on TikTok. And I do need to get on TikTok because that's where the kids are at. So I'm trying to drive traffic to my YouTube for long form content. I'm on Odyssey. Check out, I like that platform better because you could see my videos and then you could see PDFs that are uploaded to there. Plus it's not YouTube, you know, so I don't really like YouTube that much. I mean, it's you know, it comes up in the search engines, that's why. But anyways, I digress. So yeah, check me out. Ride safe, everybody. You know, if you see something, say something, pull out a camera and record it and upload it online because we got to hold these people accountable, you know. It's some bullshit. Anyways, be safe.